All right, hello out there in cryptocurrency land. Welcome back to Real Crypto. Thanks for joining me once again here today. So in our video yesterday, we talked about Bitcoin breaking down from this head and shoulders pattern. Actually, this was our head and shoulders pattern. We did break down. The volume was good. However, we subsequently broke right back up above, and we've been going higher ever since. So what's going on here? What's up with Bitcoin? Why is it all over the place? Well, first things first, we mentioned to kind of stay away from Bitcoin because of this kind of action. And second thing second is that Bitcoin is showing bullish behavior. Now it is rising, albeit on slightly higher volume. We're not seeing a lot of spiky volume, and that's okay, but it is starting to just barely edge up, which is fairly healthy. And one of two things is going on here, and those two things are this. So number one, this head and shoulders we talked about broke down here. Okay, we broke down with the head and shoulders. We subsequently negated the head and shoulders pattern earlier today by breaking above this shoulder high, or the head and shoulders pattern was not fully formed and we're due to have another shoulder over here. All right, this would still be a very valid head and shoulders pattern, and that would put the neckline at this lower level down here, which would give us a little bit further downside. We talked about yesterday in regards to 7,500, 7,450. This would probably put us at around the 7,400 level if this were to turn out to be a head. Now, I'm not convinced one way or the other because Bitcoin does look very bullish up here, but we're not getting those big volume spikes that we would typically see in a large rally. Now, that being said, I want to take a look at a bit of a larger term picture. I did throw some Fibs up, which I don't typically do, but I was curious how these bounces during the bear market have gone. And they've gone. So first of all, I want to look at the first one, which doesn't look anything like these subsequent bounces, just to kind of show you, keeping it real with you guys. This is Real Crypto. I do want to show you that nothing's perfect. So we have the 20,000 top coming down to the ultimate spike low here of 10.4. All right, and we ultimately bounced up here all the way almost to the 78 level. All right, almost to the 78 level right here at the 17,050 point here. So this was a bit of an outlier. It was a very strong bounce from this ultimate low. Although I believe this was such an extreme drop, and this was extreme, guys. We actually recorded this in real time, and we have almost all except for 3 hours this whole area recorded, and it was a very, very extreme price action, point in time for price action. So I think this was well overblown, and in a minute here I want to show you how this can look more normal. Now with this next low, I took the second high to the ultimate swing low here of 6,000, and what was that full retracement? Well, it was almost exactly 50%. It was a little bit above 50% retracement level. All right, 0.5 was 11,405. As we know, this was 11,775, so a little bit above that. And based on the most recent down draw from this same level, 11,775 or so. It seems to be a little, oh no, that's not exaggerated. That is correct. 11,763 to the ultimate lows on this throwback. Now what we have here is the 50% line lining up almost exactly with the target that I was giving yesterday of about 9,100 to 9,200. It's actually 9,158. All right, is where that level is, and as you can see, my blue trend line lines up almost pretty much exactly. I mean, it's a few dollars above this 50% at 91.38. Okay, so we're right in line there. So the fact that we could get up here towards this 91.38 level definitely does lead with historical precedence in terms of this down draw here. This second down draw here rose up 50% before rolling over. We could do the same thing again here. Now, how can this one look more normal? I was trying to look for a scenario, kind of, I guess, making the Fibs fit the pattern, which isn't always a super healthy thing to do. You want to stay truthful with your analysis, and the only way I could do that was two ways. I could take it to the bottom, the close of this bar, which would keep 50% all the way here, or we can move up a little bit further to these lows over here, and that would keep 50% here. So not quite as honest in analysis, but this does bring us up to the 68. I'm sorry, the 618 retracement to these next highs here. Okay, so keeping things a bit more honest, that's kind of how I'm kind of viewing this analysis. So there is definitely a case that we go higher in Bitcoin here. So going back to our immediate analysis, does this lead to the fact that this is a head and shoulders, and this is in fact the shoulder, and this is not the shoulder? Because keep in mind that that could happen. We could have a bit of an elongated right shoulder, get a little higher, and then still roll over, because keep in mind we don't have extreme volume coming in here. We do have a bit of an area of increasing volume, but is it sustainable? And if it is sustainable, we do have a case to be made for the 50% retracement in Bitcoin to the 91.5 level, right? We just talked about that, and that also lines up with a prior high, which would be healthy, which would be a nice, give the bulls a nice run up here, and then subsequent fuel for a further drop in Bitcoin. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, the overall market cycle in Bitcoin is still bearish. We are still bearish overall in Bitcoin. That has not been taken out to the upside. This is just a theory at this point in time for the people that will be arguing vehemently that we have broken the downtrend and that we are now in an uptrend. That is just theory in my point of view. I think a very clear takeout of this 91 to 9200 level probably would get us back into Bitcoin. Like I mentioned yesterday, you know, we're stuck in this kind of channel area for Bitcoin. So there's kind of my analysis for today. We talked about the head and shoulders yesterday. That was, it looked like we did break down, and there was a good case that this was the shoulder. But again, maybe it is not the case. Maybe this is a shoulder, or maybe maybe we just continue higher and this is not a head and shoulders pattern. But the future price action will lead us, you know, towards the answer. Right now, what we have in Bitcoin is this most recent candle selling off a little bit. Nothing to be too alarmed about. We're still above these levels here at the 81.45 area. We're still above there. So anything above here, you can consider it kind of part of this bull run, maybe going into this this right shoulder. But guys, keep in mind, and I do want you to keep this in mind, Bitcoin has had these series of spikes up with a consolidation, spike down, consolidation, spike up, consolidation, spike down. I still would not be involved with Bitcoin to the long side or to the short side. There's just too much going on here. There's a fight that's happening. I don't want your accounts getting chopped up in it. As you can see, even on the 15-minute, this is getting sold off into. Volume is increasing. It definitely is some selling remaining in here. So don't get too long Bitcoin. And if you do get long Bitcoin, please make sure you have a dedicated stop in place. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. There's kind of the bullish and the bearish case for Bitcoin. I hope I gave you both sides of the story there. And for those of you saying real crypto, you don't know what you're talking about, let me just say this. There is nothing certain in trading, okay? There are very few things that are certain in trading. Sometimes we can have an extremely strong viewpoint based on the technical argument, okay? And usually when I do these bullish and bearish cases, it's because there is not one. And right now it is a mixed bag. And if you guys are going to say technical analysis is not true because I don't know every single move, then I don't know how to convince you otherwise that no one's perfect. Analysis is at best an opinion, and those of us that are very good at it still don't get it right 100% of the time. If this were easy, everybody would do it and be very good at it, but it is not. There are very few people that are excellent at it. I'm not arguing I am one of those individuals, but I get it right better than most. I will say that. So if you guys think differently from my viewpoint, please give an argument down below in the comment section as to why you believe that this is not correct. Please, mention a moving average, mention a level, mention some volume. Give me something to go off of other than, oh, real crypto, you're full of crap, your analysis sucks. Please give good feedback in the comments below so we can have a concerted argument instead of just this, this what usually devolves into you guys calling me names. That's usually not very helpful for the public at large looking for some kind of guidance in a market that is very volatile. So, All right, guys, thanks for joining me today. This is kind of my Bitcoin analysis. Do with it what you will. Please check us out in the Power Hour. Go to real-crypto.com. Check out our Power Hour where we actually caught a very good signal in WAN today. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I think it was a lot of fun. This was our buy call in WAN right here, kind of at the 69,200 level, and we had a subsequent bounce. WAN kind of resting right now, pulling back a little bit here. But that was really fun in the Power Hour. 4 in a row we've caught in the Power Hour. It's been really fun room with really good traders. Talking really extensive trading strategy, knowledge, portfolio management. So please check it out if you guys want a little bit more than just what we can smash into a small YouTube video. All right, guys, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it, and I will see you next time.